They surrounded her in the school hallway, smirking and sneering, their voices dripping with cruelty. It was supposed to be just another day for Maya, a bright and confident black girl who had worked hard to make every moment count. But today was different. A cruel prank turned into something much worse when her favorite dress, a symbol of her individuality and pride, was torn apart in front of a crowd of laughing faces. Their insults echoed louder than their laughter, but Maya didn't crumble. Instead, she stood tall, her mind racing with a plan. What happened next would not only shock her tormentors, but leave everyone watching questioning their own behavior. Maya wasn't just going to defend herself, she was about to teach them a lesson they'd never forget. Stay tuned as we uncover how one girl turned humiliation into empowerment and changed the conversation for everyone. Maya clenched her fists, fighting back tears as she scanned the faces of the crowd. Some looked uncomfortable, but none stepped forward. The ringleader, Emma, flashed a cruel smile, clearly enjoying the scene she had orchestrated. Maya's torn dress hung awkwardly, the colorful fabric that once made her feel strong, now reduced to a target for their ridicule. But behind her steady gaze, Maya's mind replayed moments that had brought her here, the whispers in the hallways, the snide comments during class, the way they always found a reason to single her out. Emma wasn't just any bully. She thrived on putting others down, and this time, Maya was her chosen victim. But what Emma didn't know was that Maya had been raised to face challenges with strength and grace. As the laughter faded, Maya stood still, quiet but determined. She was ready to turn their hatred into something unforgettable. The school bell rang, but no one moved. The hallway felt frozen, the weight of what had just happened lingering in the air. Maya adjusted the torn edges of her dress, standing straighter as whispers rippled through the crowd. She could feel the sting of humiliation, but beneath it, a fire was building. Emma and her group stood smugly, arms crossed, as if daring Maya to fight back. Maya's mind flashed to her mother's words. Asterisk, when people try to bring you down, rise higher. Show them who you are. Asterisk, she thought about all the times she had stayed silent, hoping the bullying would stop. Not today. Meanwhile, a few students in the crowd started to shift uncomfortably. Jake, a quiet boy who usually stayed on the sidelines, watched the scene unfold with growing unease. He wasn't sure what he could do, but something about this felt wrong. Maya glanced around, locking eyes with Jake for a moment before turning back to Emma. "You think this is funny?" she asked, her voice calm but piercing. Emma rolled her eyes, but Maya continued. "I hope you're ready, because this isn't over." Maya's words hung in the air, a quiet challenge that left everyone wondering what she would do next. The day wasn't over, but it felt like the entire school was holding its breath. Maya had stayed quiet for too long, and everyone was curious about what she would do next. By lunchtime, the story of the torn dress had spread across the campus. Whispers followed Maya everywhere, but she walked through the halls with purpose. Her composure only added to the mystery, leaving Emma and her crew feeling slightly unsettled, though they wouldn't admit it. In the cafeteria, Maya quietly set up a display on one of the empty tables. Students gathered around, confused but intrigued, as she carefully laid out pictures, articles, and quotes from influential figures who had overcome discrimination. She had stayed up late working on this project for another class, but now, it felt like the perfect moment to use it. At the center of it all was a simple sign that read, "Asterisk, respect is stronger than hate." Asterisk, Emma and her group watched from a distance, laughing at first, but their smiles began to fade as more students gathered around Maya's table. One by one, people started to engage, reading, asking questions, and even thanking Maya for what she was doing. Jake, who had been quiet earlier, stepped forward and helped Maya organize the growing crowd. Maya didn't look at Emma, but her voice carried through the room as she spoke to the group around her. "You can try to tear someone down, but strength isn't in the things you destroy, it's in what you build." The tension in the room grew thicker, and all eyes shifted toward Emma, waiting to see how she would respond. The cafeteria buzzed with energy, but Emma wasn't about to let Maya steal the spotlight. She pushed through the crowd, her voice cutting through the chatter. "This is all for attention, isn't it?" Emma said loudly, smirking as her friends laughed behind her. "You think a few posters are going to change anything? Please." But just as the weight of James' questions settled, another voice broke through. A young employee, one of the receptionists, hesitated before stepping forward. "Mr. Reynolds," she said nervously, "this isn't the first time something like this has happened." Her words sent a ripple through the room, and suddenly, the situation became much larger than a single moment. James turned to her, his expression softening as he nodded for her to continue. The manager's eyes widened in fear, realizing that his behavior might not just cost him his reputation, but everything he had worked for. The lobby was silent as the receptionist spoke, her voice steady despite her nerves. "He's been treating people like this for years. Staff, clients, anyone he thinks he's above," she admitted, glancing at the manager, who now looked like he wanted to disappear. Other employees began nodding, some even whispering their own experiences. James listened carefully, his calm demeanor masking the storm of thoughts running through his mind. Finally, James turned back to the manager. "It's one thing to make a mistake," he said, his voice steady but firm. "It's another to create a culture of disrespect and fear. This is not how we treat people. Not here, not anywhere." The manager stammered, trying to defend himself. "I didn't know. I thought," he began, but James raised a hand to stop him. "You didn't think," James interrupted, his tone sharp. "You judged, and you acted with cruelty. And now it's time to face the consequences." The executives stepped in, their expressions grim. "Effective immediately, you're relieved of your duties," one of them said firmly. The manager's jaw dropped, but he was too stunned to respond. Security arrived shortly after, escorting him out as the staff watched, some in shock, others in quiet relief. But just as the tension seemed to ease, James turned back to the staff. "This isn't just about one person," he said. "It's about rebuilding trust and ensuring everyone here feels respected and valued. Starting today, there will be changes." The employees exchanged hopeful glances, their expressions softening. But then James added, with a small, knowing smile, "And just so you all know, I don't sit in a corner office. My door is always open." As he walked toward the elevator, a ripple of admiration followed him. The once intimidating figure had become a symbol of fairness and integrity. And while the manager was gone, the real transformation of the workplace had only just begun. As the elevator doors closed behind James, the employees stood quietly, reflecting on what had just unfolded. The atmosphere in the office felt lighter, as if a weight had been lifted. Conversations sparked among the staff, not about the manager's downfall but about the possibilities of a better workplace, one rooted in respect and fairness. Word of the incident spread quickly, becoming a powerful lesson not just within the company but beyond. It served as a reminder that judgment based on appearances can backfire in unimaginable ways, and that true leadership is measured by actions, not assumptions. For James, the day wasn't about revenge, it was about accountability. He believed in creating environments where everyone had the chance to thrive, no matter who they were. As he settled into his office, he smiled, knowing this was just the beginning of something greater. Sometimes, the smallest actions lead to the biggest changes.